New at 10 tonight, a man born and raised in the most poverty-stricken community in Kenya told his harrowing story to a large crowd at Harvest Church, a story that left the crowd in awe and inspired.
I was born and raised in a place called Mathare in Nairobi, Kenya, all the way in Africa. And I was brought up in one of the poorest neighborhood. Like I said, it's called Mathare. And I grew up with my mom and my brothers. So my mom started selling drugs, that she was trying to make sure that we had a decent life. She made sure that we had a meal to eat. And the hardest thing for her was to come home at night and say, hey man, I've been working the whole day. I've been looking for something for us to eat, but I didn't find anything. At some point, I became the provider of the family. And I was just a little boy of 8 years old. When I couldn't find anything when I was begging, that's when I joined a group of young people who we started stealing with and snatching things, and we became a thief. And so I remember at the age of 9, when I was stealing, I was running away, and then I was not lucky enough. And that's when the cops caught up with me. And then I was arrested. And so I ended up being in prison at the age of 9, and that was probably my darkest moment in life. But then I didn't want to go back to the streets, because I didn't want to go back to the prison, or I didn't want to die. And then that's when Compassion International intervened. So Compassion works with local churches, and they go to the poor of the poorest neighborhoods. And so they were able to be in the church that was in my neighborhood. And so through that church, I was able to be enrolled into the program of Compassion, and that's how my life started making sense. And so I even started a ministry of reaching out to my Africans who are in the diaspora. We challenge Africans to give back to Africa, because we want to be part of the change that's happening in Africa. And all this began when my sponsor believed in me, and when they started sponsoring me, and they changed my life.
If you were unable to hear Jey speak tonight, Jey will be sharing his story tomorrow at Moab Coffee at 8:30 p.m. Jey will also be sharing